What's up, guys? CommandoSanta here, and welcome back to another episode of Jubilee Gardens. So today, as always, I'm joined by RubleTrillions.
Hey man, how's it going?
Oh, not bad, not bad. As we're, just talking about just non-stop weekend of Planet Coaster. I have gotten a good amount done on top of, in between your episode and this one. So this format is going to be a little bit like last week's. We're going to do live portion at the end because I did a lot of stuff off camera and, I didn't record everything because it was a lot of just like silly placement of things and kind of boring stuff in my opinion. So we'll do a live portion later and that'll be pretty good. I'll be showing the final product of what I did at the end of this week. Nice. So yeah. Let's get into, I guess, what I have started today. This is something I've actually been working on for, a couple weeks now. I actually started doing this before you did your episode last week.
Yeah, I deleted this on camera so no one can see it.
So we didn't have to see it. But yeah, this is going to be Jubilee Gardens' official ferry terminal. So I was thinking about having, some kind of boats going through the waterway and stuff and having different sections of the park linked up by like our little river there. And I don't know, I figured it'd be kind of cool, and it's a really cool looking building. So I don't know, I'm just pretty happy with it.
Yeah, no, I love it. I love the final result. It definitely sells the vibe of like a ferry terminal. So, and we've done some, chatting and planning about how we're going to handle this, and we're going to use boats that are similar to what you would find in the San Antonio Riverwalk. I don't know, not a lot of people are probably very familiar with that, but if you Google it, they have these very, low-lying boats that fit a lot of people, and they do these little river tours. So that's, I was thinking about it. That's something I'll probably do on a stream or something, try to make that. But that's how we're going to handle sort of the canal thing. And, this would be the area where people would get on and go on that. So.
Yeah, and if anything, we can have another one of these ferry terminals at the other side where Mr. Twister used to be, and almost by where we have our kind of more forced boundaries that we gave ourselves last week. So
yeah. And speaking of boundaries, that's something I'm excited for. Is the update stream was this past week, and on the stream they said that you would be able to use the tutorial creator. Or not tutorial, the scenario creator in existing park files. So we're both hopeful that that's exactly how it's going to work, because what we want to do is move the river to the outside boundary of the park so that it looks like, I know we showed you in the last episode that we kind of hit it with that cement thing, but it would be a lot nicer to make it look like it's actually coming from, out of the park.
Yeah, and then I would probably build that access road there into a bridge and actually make it look halfway decent.
Right.
I tried to do something with it now, and in retrospect, I probably shouldn't even touched it, but I wanted to make it at least look okay. You guys will see what I mean come the live portion, but yeah. But yeah, this ferry terminal is shaping up. I really like this little top section that I'm just working on.
Yeah, I think that sells it.
Yeah. I guess this is used as just like the lookout point, and where all the kind of like the management aspects of that, just kind of looking for the ferries coming in and out and stuff.
Yeah, because
I just love it.
You'd have a pretty good view all the way down the river from that.
Yeah, and yeah, you can see the whole forever there. But as a building wise, I don't know what. I guess they would have some like waiting things and probably a little bit of shops in there, but. Other than that, I think this building's more at least in the back area, probably more staff oriented.
Yeah.
I don't think I put it on this time lapse, but I'll show it after. I ended up adding like a staff door to the left section, and there was a little bit more backstage stuff I did with like the Mind Eraser coaster. And yeah, it's just more of a little staff area over there. Should be. I guess it suffices, I guess, for how static this building is. And, there's not going to be, I didn't really set it up to have like food shops and stuff inside, but maybe there'd be like a little gift shop.
At one point, you like completely had to break the path system that we had over here too.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. You will see. Yes. Oh my gosh. That was like 20 minutes of trying to get that, more like half an hour really, of getting that to work. Again, you'll see what I mean when I'll actually point out what I had to do to get it to work in the live portion, but oh my gosh. When you have too many links up on the path system and you just try and delete one thing.
Yeah, so the way the path system works, I'm sure most people already know this, but the more kind of junctions you create, the more pieces of path that are being impacted by that. So if you look at the path tool, there's always like a little highlight on the edges, and it shows you which section of path you're manipulating. And so the more and more, you sort of add junctions onto a certain area, it just creates a scenario where you can't, there's like one tiny piece you want to delete, you can't, and it deletes the whole thing. So yeah. So that's probably my doing, because I know I did a lot of that stuff. So I'm glad you're able to put it back together.
That's what happens when we try and get more natural looking paths. Yeah. Because I really wanted to edit the way the exit path comes from the Mind Eraser coaster. And we talked about last episode, we would kind of want to bring the paths down a little bit, bring their scale down a little bit, because like our Main Street paths are the 10 meter wide ones. Mm-hmm. And comparative now to the scale, it's huge. I mean.
Yeah. I think so we should mention this. I think we talked about it briefly in the last episode, but we got a great comment in the last episode of Jubilee Gardens, and I'm going to try to I'll find it in a second, but I think for the Main Street area, it probably makes sense to have the scale the way it is. It's just as we continue to branch out, it's going to be if we continued to go down that route, it would have been an issue, because the 10 meter really anything probably above the 6 meter path is, you're talking about a pretty long distance in terms of length. Sometimes you want that for width, but if you put two 6 meter paths on top of one another, you're talking about a substantial distance that they have to walk.
Yes.
And, when we started this, and really it was my fault, because when we started it, I was doing so much of the path layout from way up in the air, and you really lose sense of scale when you do that. And then when you get down low, even if you plop one of those little archers down there, it turns into a mess. So
yeah, quick aside, I had someone actually message me on I think it was Steam, asking why we always start our build with putting archers down. And the reason we do that is it's roughly the size of one of the guests, so it gives you that scale. It gives you that focus point to try and bring the scale down to that size. Because with Planet Coaster, you can finish this building, and all of a sudden you get people walking around and like, oh my gosh, it's twice the size it needs to be.
It really, again, the game is intentionally, they intentionally made it sort of larger scale, and if you just are going by the scale of some of the pieces in the game, you're going to quickly, have something that's way too big on your hands. But the comment we got was from Matthew Shannon. So shout out to Matthew. This was a fantastic suggestion. So he said, a way to make the new placement of Mr. Twister make sense is, in terms of the history of the park, is to, essentially the original entrance would be on the other side of the river. As you walk towards the train station, that would have been the entrance. So we're going to find a way to work in sort of an old gate there that would have been the original gate to the park. And then theoretically the park would have bought the land where the current Main Street is and where Jubilee Square is and the parking lot and all that.
Yep. And that just makes so much sense. I really enjoyed when you told me about that, because it's like, wow, that's awesome. And we didn't even think of that.
So that, I know we say this frequently, but we do read your comments, and if you have ideas, please share them, because that wasn't even on our radar, and it was a great idea, and it totally explains it helps us explain away some of the issues that we have in our park. So thank you.
and on top of that, some ideas that people do mention, I personally, that's what I do with Buffalo Valley. I love getting people to like, hey, you should try doing this, and then I try doing that because it's fun, you make what people want to see.
Yeah.
And like, oh, this could look good here, but yeah.
So this part here, you kind of redid from the last episode, right?
Yes. So if you remember originally, it was almost like the other side where we're getting that brick kind of structure holding up the train tracks, and it was just kind of going straight out from the train station itself. But when we were talking, and I think we mentioned it a little bit last episode, we're very sparse on rides by the entrance location. We needed something else over here, so I ended up giving it almost a little kind of nudge to the left and brought it over this little section of path right by where Mineral Junction did his tea room. And I was actually able to fit a ride over here, but I wanted to do more of like a natural kind of overpass over the path here, because the path that this is going over actually goes down and then back up after it goes past the tea room. So I figured I wanted to make like a little trestle bridge, so
yeah, no,
and it looks really good.
Yeah, it does. It looks good. Building bridges in this game is one of my guilty pleasures. So.
Yes, yeah, it's so much fun.
Yeah, and
I did I really love using Mineral Junction's fences he has made all over the park.
Oh God, yeah. If you look at, I know the Bro Coaster released his episode today, and the sheer variety of fences, even in our park too, that he accomplishes is insane.
If you almost, I didn't even make a fence in this episode. I've just been using everything he's done. But I'll show more of that section in the after part here. But this is actually something that I kind of enjoyed, but I wasn't too sure about until I finished it. And bear with me here. This is going to be more of it's hard to explain. I did it more of like a nature queue, but this is right next to the Chairswing there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And I ended up doing like the crosshatch roof and having like the vines and stuff on top of it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and it actually turned out really, really nice. And I ended up doing some color and painting it differently, and I actually really like it. And I ended up making this area kind of overgrown. And I spent some time walking as like in the Tegid Cam or whatever on the other side of the river, and boy, this part actually stands out.
Nice.
It's really cool.
Yeah, but that's cool. You're using the fence. That's
I use these fences, and then they actually, because I have something like this on my porch at my actual house. And,
yeah. No, I've seen this kind of thing done before, but usually with the smallest wooden beams, but not with the fences.
And these fences worked out perfectly. And ended up bringing everything, all like the support beams, and I left the fences white, and then the wooden pieces around there, I did the like Jubilee darker blue.
Nice.
And it's sharp. The only thing.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, the only thing I had a little bit issue with is those vine overlays. They're really flat, and they lose their fidelity the more zoomed out you are.
Oh yeah, and
so
they Z-fight pretty bad too.
And it starts to look kind of like garbage the more like far out. So I tried to do some different angling, and it looks a little bit better, but I guess it just looks okay up close, which is I guess all that matters.
Yeah, I've used some of those as like ground cover because it's something that I saw Mike Sheets use, and it when you kind of lay too many of them on top of one another, there's like a dark shadow area that it creates because of, like you said, they're so flat, like there's no texture to them. So but yeah, luckily, you're probably not going to spend a lot of time really focusing on that.
No.
But I love the spot you chose. I think the Charoplane kind of begs to be used in junctions like that, where there's kind of a sweeping curve around it. I think that's a common way they're used in parks, or alternatively, a lot of times you'll see them kind of pushed out onto a piece of water or something like that.
Yeah, and this is really cool because it sweeps over the path just a tad bit, and also gets really close to the railroad tracks, which is even cooler.
Nice.
I actually don't know if it's going. I'm fairly certain it's not going to touch the train itself, but you can't test the train anymore, I guess.
Oh yeah.
So.
Yeah, it looks like it's far enough away.
Yeah, I think it's far enough away. Okay. But I ended up making this more of like a garden area, so it worked out really nicely.
Yeah, I like it a lot. And the thing that I like too is, I love Minerals Tea Room, but we're, to make it fit in, we're going to have to do things that are similar. And this, I think, does a good job of kind of, as you walk around this bend under that bridge and see his tea room, this kind of sets the tone for that, I think.
Yeah.
So it was great job of like bridging the gap between those two things.
Yep. All right, so we're going to be moving over to the live portion in just a second, so hang tight. All right, guys, welcome back to the live portion of Jubilee Gardens. So this right here is the final product of the Chairplane. Yeah, there she is.
Wow, you really filled in the planting. It looks great.
It's very, I really love what we did with changing the ground texture. Yeah. It's like once you start adding that grass, it really looks great over the leaves.
Yeah, it makes a huge difference it's just so much more realistic. I mean, you wouldn't have a whole park with pristine grass. So
yeah, exactly. And it's really difficult to do. But yeah, this is where, from the railroad track view.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's far enough away.
Yeah.
But yeah, little trees, a few bigger trees.
The way that you've landscaped it, it makes it look like it's, it's a older area. Which, going back to our new narrative that the park entrance would have basically been the train station, it would make sense that this would have been one of the original rides and would kind of have an overgrown area like this.
Yeah. So this is going to be the little trestle bridge. It's just
nice.
Very simple, kind of almost like a little hideaway, but a small, not crazy huge path.
I like the way you walled it in.
Yeah,
that looks really good.
But yeah, it flows right down to Minerals area.
Yeah,
right here.
God, that building's so good.
Yeah, isn't it though? I love it.
And I like how you added the wood pieces over the bridge with the train track.
Yeah, it makes it just look so much nicer.
Yeah, definitely. But
I don't know what we want to do over here. I just kind of had it come down, but I just kind of stole Minerals things. But
yeah. At least it's at ground level there, and that's something that I don't know. I can't remember if we talked about it in the last episode, but I know we've talked about it off camera of just trying to. Yeah, we did talk about it. Just trying to get it back down to a base level where it's not going to be elevated the whole radius of the park.
Yeah, because this is actually quite high up in comparison.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at what I did over here, which now I guess I can actually show it off. I extended this part over to this way.
Yeah. Which I think that makes sense for how it goes into the backstage there.
And it's almost like a really nice natural wall, which is actually kind of cool.
Yeah, it looks great.
I mean, thinking about it that way, it's almost like the wall of the park, I guess. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, then it comes, this is the incoming part of the train, so the train would be coming from the left here. Little just kind of over area of the backstage part, but it just kind of goes that way. I haven't done anything else with it yet.
Nice.
Here is the finished-ish product. One of the things I didn't get to touch on in the episode, I love these wooden planks.
Oh yeah,
that were in the spooky pack. The haunted house,
just that flat piece,
it's the haunted house flat piece. Yeah. I've been using those in Buffalo Valley for boardwalks and such. They're fantastic.
Yeah, they're really good. Yeah, I would love to get more stuff like that. Essentially, it's just using the in-game sort of billboard pieces that they added, except for they already have a texture on them.
Yeah.
I would love to see more of that stuff from them.
Yeah, a simple tileable texture. It's just perfect.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did a kind of stupid mineral wall over here.
That's nice. Yeah, that staff gate.
And then the staff gate, because that would be access. This is the staff access road.
Yeah, that's perfect. That looks really good.
I wasn't sure if this was too much, in all honesty.
I don't think so. I think that looks awesome. Yeah.
Because, I mean, generally people would be congregating here. Because, I mean, I haven't made the dock itself yet because I'm not sure how big we want the boat. So
yeah.
But, I mean, just having the little staff section. Because, I mean, right here, you can even pull cars over. Like utility cars. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully, you know what? I'm almost tempted, even if we can move the river outside of the park boundary, I'm tempted to leave that the way it is. You know, and I think one thing it's missing is the same fence piece that you use to create the door. I think I'll add that to the part that actually goes into the water.
Okay.
Yeah. That piece there. Yeah. So it's like a metal grate is actually stopping anyone from going in there.
Yeah, exactly. Falling in and then getting sucked in. Yeah.
Yeah. But that looks really nice.
Yeah. And under here is just tickets. It's whatever. It's an information kiosk. Here's the little staff entrance over here. And this is also an access door. I love these doors. Did you or Mineral do these?
Mineral made those.
Oh my gosh, these fences and doors.
Yeah.
So I put it here. I mean, swinging's going to be hard with this, but whatever. And I ended up doing this.
Yeah.
So this is the new exit, almost.
Nice. Yeah, that's really good. It's nice and concise. It's much more concise than it was before.
Yeah.
So.
And it's almost a little industrial, which is what you kind of find with these Mind Eraser coasters.
Yeah, for sure. Based on the time period they were built. Yeah.
Yeah. And then copying, pasting mineral lights, you know.
Yeah, just the basic sort of theme park stuff that he creates is ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's so good. And that looks great.
Yeah. I guess it could be like a photo room or something, but I haven't done anything inside yet.
Yeah, I think we should turn it into that. That makes a lot of sense to have it right there.
Yep. Because I tried having a building here, but it was, no matter what I did, it was a bit too close to the rear train car that was coming up here.
Yeah.
And because I would make it more of a gift shop, but then, you know, I just have this as exit only, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think just having the photo booth or whatever would be fine. That could also be like the entrance for the Fast Pass too.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't think we'll probably ever use the actual Fast Pass queue that's in the game, because typically what you find is only a handful of rides and parks actually have like a full-on queue for the Fast Pass. Most of them you walk in up the exit.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's how you get into the station. So.
I added this section right here, just a little tiny little pond. Did this fenced area here, and this is the big section I was kind of showing you.
Yeah, that looks so good. Like the little, like if someone, because it's the best part about this is it's in between the entrance and the exit. So if someone, you know, theoretically didn't want to go on the ride and wanted to wait for their group, they could just sit there and watch.
Yep. Yeah, and it comes pretty close to the train car coming here.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that looks awesome.
Yeah, and it's very scenic, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, so is that the part that broke the paths?
Yeah, so the first thing I wanted to do was actually slim up this path right here, which gave me a lot more real estate right here, because I was originally going to put this building here. And then doing this right here was, ugh.
Yeah, I think we talked about it too, that we're going to try to put in some little sort of pop-ups, not on the part where someone would sit and watch, but kind of in the plaza area up above. Masked Bandit created some awesome little sort of food kiosk pop-ups that he was kind enough to share with us on Steam. So we'll probably plop a couple of those down in here, just because it would be a good opportunity to make a little bit of extra money for the park.
Yeah, exactly. Lighting a little better. But yeah, I really enjoy the little sight line down here. It's pretty, you know, just kind of climbing next to the coaster.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
then even from down here, you know. Yep.
Yeah. So it's a good example of what we're talking about too, of in the future really scaling down the paths, because you know this works fine for how we have everything laid out now, but the distance from even the junction at the main street to get to the entrance here is like crazy with, you know, not much in between. So
yeah. I mean, I know what you mean, because like you know, it's like we talked about last episode. You get here and there's, you know, the next ride is either there or there.
Yeah, but adding the Chairoplane helps a lot.
Yeah, and it looks really nice from over here.
Yeah.
So I just really enjoyed this sight line right here, you know?
Yeah.
It's almost very full.
Yeah, absolutely. And so the old, you know, the old entrance of the park is going to be on this side of the bridge. So I've started collecting a bunch of reference material there, and that's where that's going to go in. And it'll be in like a different font than the newer Jubilee logo. But so if you think about this in the context of an old park, if someone was walking across the bridge to enter the park, I mean, it makes so much sense. So thank you, Matthew, for that idea.
Yes, thank you so much. But yeah, that's pretty much all I did. Just a little bit of backstage stuff here, just kind of connecting it up with my little door I had under here.
Nice.
So you can actually drive down here, open the mineral gate, and hang out in the mineral truck. And
I'm hopeful that we actually will be able to adjust the park boundary there, because if you go that way towards the sort of peep spawner, which will probably move or add another area to spawn the peeps from other than that. That way it can just be full traffic. But if you look to the right there, into the backstage, there's some trees to the left of like the security booth. If we can move, if we're actually able to move the park boundary outward, I think I'm gonna kind of flatten that area and add in some like loading delivery areas, just because we don't really have that, and we don't really have the space for it in the other buildings. Plus, if you're having a delivery area, you would want it close to that entrance, and then, you know, your other trucks would sort of take things into the park from there.
That would be pretty cool to have a little delivery area.
Yeah, so I can't wait for the update. I hope that we can actually do that, and you know, adding different areas where peeps will spawn will be awesome.
But yeah, park is filling out pretty well, I have to say. It's coming along. Great,
so
all right, so we have been going for pretty long now, so I guess we'll kill the episode here. So thanks again, guys, for watching. We really appreciate all the support. Make sure to leave us some comments with any, you know, tips and tricks or whatever you guys want to see, and we'll be sure to look at them. So again, thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys in 2 weeks, correct?
I'll be building for 2 weeks. So
all right, sounds good. Oh, you can't do it in a week, huh?
I don't think so. Not at the holidays. So
yeah, true. We had the holidays. So yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. See you in the next episode.
See you, everyone.